Best romance I've read all year. Quotes for days. It is just all the rage in my friend group. Hi friends, and welcome back. If you are new here, today I'm going to go over all of the reads that I read in October. I thankfully did not have any DNFs. I had a mostly amazing reading month and I had several 5-star reads, and I'm so excited to share them all with you today. It has been such a good fall start to reading already. So I'll go ahead and start off with the lowest and go up to the highest. The first book being Mate. I do not have this with me because I lent it out, but I ended up giving this one 2 stars, sadly. I'm not going to go too much in depth with this one. Just know that it has a lot of trigger warnings and spice content in it. I was having to skip chapters, and sadly that was just really disappointing to me, and so I ended up rating it 2 stars. Originally I had given it 3, and then as time went on I just became more and more frustrated with how that book ended up being, and so I ended up lowering it because I was kind of just thinking about some other books that I had given 3 stars in the same month, and it just didn't hold up to those. So it is not a book for me, and sadly I will just probably not be reading any more Allie Hazelwood, but that's just how it goes. You know, you never know. The next book that I read was Metal Slinger. I read and finished at the beginning of this month, and I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't remember a ton about this book. I just remember that there was so many characters in this book that reminded me of Alice in Wonderland, and there were some parts in it that just gave me those vibes. There was moments of travel on a ship. I was very bored in this book for a really long period of time, but I will tell you that everyone who says the ending is jaw-dropping is not lying. And so for most of the book, this was a 2 star, but the ending did raise it to a 3 star. I do plan to continue simply because of the ending. It was outrageous. Like, I can't even describe to you, my jaw was on the floor. But other than that, I don't remember a ton about this book because I just remember being really bored throughout. So unfortunately, it's not one of those that's high on my list. The next book that I read that was a 3 star is The Secret Society of Irregular Witches. This is another one of those books that I feel had a lot of slow points for me. I enjoyed it, but I just didn't love it. I feel that there was just not enough going on for my taste. It is following a witch who is basically not allowed to tell anyone because they're kind of living in secret now because of some things that happened to the witches previously that were not good, so they started to go into hiding. And then she gets this job listing where someone approaches her and asks her to help her tutor. From there, she goes to this house and she is surprised at what she finds out. And then it follows her along this journey of working with these new people and so on. I thought it was good. I just didn't love this one. And I don't really have a lot to say about it other than that. It was just okay. It does contain some small bits of spice, open door, but for the most part, it was just kind of a cozy, slower fantasy read. Then the next book I read was Juniper Bean Resorts to Murder. This was for Hannah's book club, the Comfy Cozy Book Club. I will link the discussion below if you have read this so that you can go check it out. It does contain spoilers in the discussion, so just know that. But I gave this one 3.5 stars. I overall did enjoy this one. I think in the beginning there was some slow moving parts for me. I also didn't love the audio, and I did use that for the most part. I just didn't love the female voice. There were some cringy moments in here that I felt were very, very awkward from the female main character, and that's the reason for me not loving it. Otherwise, I think this would have been a lot higher because there were a lot of deeper themes towards the end, and it was just so beautifully written, I will say, about this book. Beautiful, beautiful writing, and lots of deep topics. And definitely look up the triggers for this one because there are a lot of triggers that I think are important for you to know going in. If you don't want to be spoiled, go ahead and jump in, but just know that there are some heavy topics that are discussed in this. Mostly they're off page, but just know that they are there. But this follows Juniper Bean, who is looking for someplace to stay, ends up staying with someone who she knows from her past and knows quite a bit about her history and growing up as a child and the things that she went through. And from there, they obviously have a murder mystery involved in this, and it is just really cute and whimsical, and I definitely recommend it, and I will be continuing the series, but I wouldn't say that I'm in a hurry to continue the series. Okay, so then the next book that I read was The Reappearance of Rachel Price. This book was on my pick 12 from my friend Jules, Books and Things. I will link her below. And I loved this book. I did not exactly know what to expect, but let me tell you, by the midway point, I was so sucked in to what was going on. The ending was absolutely insane. There were so many twists. And basically, this is following a girl whose mother, whose name is Rachel Price, disappears when she is a child, and they want to do a film on it, a documentary series. And so in this amount of time, obviously there is a reappearance. This is the name. And so they're trying to figure out why she appeared and where has she been all of this time. And it is just absolutely insane, the amount of twists that are in this book that I just did not expect, did not see coming. My jaw was on the floor. I binged the last 20% of it, and I did end up giving it 4.5 stars. So it was such a good pick. Thank you so much, Jules. Loved it so much. Okay, the next book that I have on my list is starting into the 5 stars. And the very first 5-star of the month was House of Flame and Shadow. This is the 3rd book in the Crescent City series, and it is my favorite one in the series. I have heard so many people say that this book is their least favorite in the series, and I have to say, I 100% disagree with that statement. This is the best book in the series, hands down. Best book in the series. I loved it. I was not confused. I know a lot of people were saying there was a lot of info dumping. I think that Sarah J. Maas does that a lot, and I actually felt that the first Crescent City book had a lot more info dumping than this one. I loved it. I ate it up. There are some surprises in here. If you've read this, you know, and that is the majority of the reason that I love this book so much is because of the surprises in it. It was just so well done and just made me remember why I love Sarah J. Maas's writing so incredibly much. It was just chef's kiss. I cannot wait for more from her. This was unfortunately my last book that I have from Sarah J. Maas that I have not read. And so I'm really sad I have to wait for a new book, but so good. So spice content for sure is there. Definitely don't read the series if you want your series to have no spice. But I will say that I think that it's easily skippable because I would tell you probably this much of the book has no spice. Like it's not prevalent. It's not the main theme. It's very easily skippable. There's probably 3 to 4 open door scenes if I can remember correctly. And it's not till like 60-70% of the book, and it's definitely plot driven. There's definitely triggers for gore in this. Some heavy triggers for gore in this that were very surprising, but it didn't take away from my enjoyment of the book, obviously, because it was fitting in the circumstances and it made sense. So it's not just like unnecessary gore. But that's all I can really say about it because it is the 3rd in the series. So then the next book that I have is If It Makes You Happy. Guys, this book is just, again, chef's kiss, 5 stars. Best romance I've read all year, I would say. I mean, it's the one that's going to stick out in my mind for a while. I know that I've said a lot of books are my favorite, and so I might get down to my December best of the year video and think, oh, that's not my favorite, but for now, it is what's stuck in my mind. It is my favorite romance of the year so far. Hands down, it is 5 stars. Incredibly, impeccably done. This is following Michelle and Cliff and their love story that is a slow burn, which I am obsessed with now. and it has all of the 90s nostalgia vibes in it. It is the perfect autumnal book. So if you did not get to it, or you still have time, jump in and read it, or save it for your next fall, because it's perfect for fall. It does just all of the seasons so well going into Christmas and then New Year's, and it is just so perfectly done. So there is spice content in it. I believe it is 2 scenes, open door scene, easily skippable, and the rest of the book I feel like is just so beautifully done. So highly recommend that one. Drawn Together would be the next one that I read. It is another 5 stars. I was on a roll at this point. This is a closed door romance. Honestly, the scene I didn't even realize was there. Like, that's how closed door it is. Like, I missed it, that it was even there. So definitely a good one for those that do not want anything in there. It is just so beautiful, quirky, funny. There were laugh out loud moments, but let me tell you, the main selling point of this book is the writing. It is so poetic, it is so intelligent, and it just has so many great vocabulary words and just quotes for days. If I am not even able to convince you with anything else other than this, that I have 80 highlighted quotes from this book. It might be more than that. It was an obnoxious amount of quotes that I was highlighting because the writing in this book is outstanding. Highly recommend. But it starts off with this funny scene that I don't want to spoil, and then she is asked to help him in becoming more in tune with romance and romance writing. And she is actually in turn needing some help with making some drawings for spooky books. So it is so cute the way that this is done. I can't say enough good things about it. Every single one of my friends has 5-starred it. I've seen probably 5 to 10 5-stars of people that I know. It's so good across the board. And then the last book that I read of the month was In This Moment by Gabrielle Meyer. Of course, another 5 stars. And I loved this book from beginning to end. I loved the time periods. I loved the characters. I loved the male potential love interests that were in this story, and just the way that she wrote each one of them. You weren't really sure which one she was going to go with for a while. She did that so well and just had some outstanding characters. There was medical stuff written throughout in this because she works in the medical field in all 3 timelines. So it does follow 3 timelines in the Civil War period, in the 9/11 period, and also the Pearl Harbor period. And so those are all just periods of time that are really interesting to me to read about in a historical fiction. Obviously, there are triggers in those, so go in there knowing that there is war violence and things like that, but not in great detail. There is some medical stuff in there, I would say blood and stuff like that, because of course she works in the medical field. So just know that going in if that's something that you don't want to read about, but it is a clean Christian historical fiction romance and just so good. I cannot wait to continue the series. I think there's like 8 to 10 books in this series, and it's just taking everything in me to not binge them all at once. So I have several friends that are binging them right now and several people that are just loving them right now. So many different people who don't always read historical fiction are just absolutely loving this, and it is just all the rage in my friend group. I think that covers everything that I read in the past month. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Please let me know in the comments below your favorite read of October. And until next time, friends, remember to read what inspires you. Bye!